Mr. Chairperson, Dr. Ayeno, Dean of FITCS, Professor Asamoah, Deans and HODs, HOD of Communication Studies Department, Dr. Amankwa, faculty and students, my friends from the media, all other protocols observed, and of course my team from Global Media Alliance. When Prof. Dr. Amankwa asked me to be part of this series, I was a bit reluctant because I felt that this is truly an institution there where I don't belong on a stage. And so, after she was able to convince me, so it's not that many people. And then today I come and he said, so many people like, hey, Doc. But truly, thank you so much. And I'm really, really honored. It's a true honor to be here. I really, really like that, I have so many people. And of course, UPSA is not a stranger to global media. From time to time, we host some of the students. And I believe that there is a bit of a testimony as to how good we are to the students when we host them. Now, when I was asked to do this lecture, I started thinking about, okay, what am I going to talk about? When you ask a 55-year-old to talk about digital communications, you wonder. So I went to my GMA guys. I said, guys, what am I going to do? Because I'm one of those guys where you say, born before technology. So when you ask a person like me to come, you have to do a lot of research. But my experiences are definitely something that I can bring to bear. And I speak from the point of view of industry. Now, in terms of localization, when you listen to my profile, most of my education tertiary education was in America, in the US. Yet, I'm a true Ghanaian. And so, in building up my experiences, I always look for experiences that I could bring back to Ghana. So, I became your quintessential localized person. Because I worked in Latin America, I worked in the UK, US, Mexico, Hong Kong. I covered a lot of countries in Asia Pacific, and I still traveled there a lot to do business. And when I was in business school, there was this phrase called think global, act local. Think global, act local. At that time, there wasn't that prevalence of digital communication. So in our minds, when you were a global person, and we didn't even use that term global, even though it had been coined in 1980 by a professor who wrote an article in Harvard Business Review. We're not thinking in that terms, but we always knew that if you wanted to be successful in international markets, you had to take the best products that you have and localize it. Localize it, because let me just say, when the Americans started expanding in the 70s and 80s, what they used to do was they would take, let's say, a car that's left-handed, and they take it to a country which is right-handed. And of course, nobody's going to buy it. That's the reality. They would take managers who have never, ever, they didn't even have passports. And they say, oh, we are taking you to, let's say, South Africa to go and work there as a country CEO. The man hasn't traveled outside the country, and yet they want them to go and be a CEO in the country. Of course, they don't understand the nuances of those environments. So guess what? They went and they failed. So later on, what would happen is that before, and this is when I joined Citibank. At that time, I had graduated from business school. They would take people like myself, take you through what they call immersion. Immersion, total immersion, where you learn about the cultures of the environment you are going into, learn to speak the language. Sometimes they will put you out in the country where you are going to learn, and then by the time you finish, you speak the local language flawlessly. Sometimes you can even dream in that local language. So when I was doing my research, I went back and said, okay, what does it mean to be a localized person? So if you permit me, I want to read what it means to be a local person, and in the digital world, what it means. So the concept of localization refers to the adaptation of global products or services to meet the unique needs and preferences of local markets. In the digital business world, localization is becoming increasingly important as companies seek to expand their reach beyond their home countries. Here are some of the trends in the localized digital business world. 1. Localization of content. Companies are investing in creating local content, including websites, social media, and marketing materials to engage with customers in different regions. This includes adapting content to local languages, customs, and cultural nuances. If you take Google as an example, and when you click on, you see all these different languages. There's Hausa and a few other languages. So depending on the market where you are and also the IP address that they identify, you get a language that's for that market. Yes. Then there's personalization. Personalization is becoming increasingly important in the localized digital business world. Companies are using data and analytics to customize products, services, and marketing messages to meet specific needs and preferences of local customers. Personalization is very, very important. If you go on a website and you're looking for shoes, suddenly everywhere you go, it's following you. Jumia, Tonaton, and it keeps following you because that's personalization, at its best. And that's if the same algorithm, if I travel to Nigeria, suddenly I'm seeing different things following me when I click when I go on a website. You go to US, the same thing. They are mapping it to your IP and then chasing you everywhere. That's personalization at its best. E-commerce and then e-commerce. E-commerce is growing rapidly in many parts of the world, and companies are adapting their online stores to meet the needs of local customers. This includes accepting local payment methods and offering local shipping options and providing customer support in local languages. Then we move to mobile-first approach. In many parts of the world, mobile devices are the primary way people access the internet. In Africa, we leapfrog technology, as they say. So that's very, very important. Companies are adapting their digital business strategies to prioritize mobile users, including optimizing their websites and apps for mobile devices and creating mobile-specific content. And then virtual and augmented reality. Virtual and augmented reality technologies are becoming more prevalent in the localized digital business world. Companies are using these technologies to create immersive experiences and operative immersive experiences for customers, such as virtual product demonstrations or augmented reality shopping experiences. So here we talk about, for instance, I went on Amazon.com to buy a product, and I wanted to buy a shoe, and then I got a notification I can try the shoe on. So I'm like, hey, how am I going to do this? And say, point the phone to your feet. So suddenly I'm wearing a shoe online. I'm like, oh wow. You want to buy furniture, they say do a scan of your room. You do a scan and start placing the furniture in different places. That is the level of customization. We may not be there yet in Ghana, but it's coming, and it's coming rapidly. You want to buy glasses, you take a scan of your head, if your head is not as nice as mine, and then you start trying on different glasses, and then the best one that fits your face, you pick it, and then they ship it to you. So that's digital world. That's where we are heading. And of course, social media. Social media is a powerful tool for engaging with customers in different regions. Companies are using social media platforms to build relationships with customers, promote their products and services, gather feedback and insights about local markets. I think almost everybody here knows social media more than I do, so I can't talk to that. I think maybe I'll let my GFA guys talk to you if you have any questions for them. So let me get to my presentation. Strategic position for university graduates to deploy digital communication skills for global job markets. Okay, so I'm going to start with an introduction to digital communication skills, the key importance, the general analysis, impact of technology on the job market, and then strategic positioning, and then the industry factor. And then I'm also going to give a bit of time for Q&A. In PR, they say you should keep it short and sweet. Brevity is what the soul of wit. So I'm going to keep it short. And then if you have questions, you can ask me later on. So in terms of being local, digitally local, these are some of the abilities that you need to communicate effectively. And again, here it says the skills are essential for success in today's increasingly digital world. And individuals who can follow effectively can communicate with these tools using and better position themselves to succeed in their personal and professional lives. And of course, some of the additional needed abilities is to be able to leverage digital tools in a globalized digital world. PR professionals should be comfortable using digital tools to communicate with clients, stakeholders, and audiences across different regions. Of course, I think we can read the rest. Now here, I was talking to Dr. Mankwa about, at least in this market, there's a bit of a divide between pure PR professionals and digitally savvy or digital guys, your social media guys. And I even have the same experience in my job, where your PR guys are pure PR, they understand PR very well, but they are now learning digital. And then your digital guys know everything about social media, but they are now learning PR, and we are trying to integrate the two, because of course there is efficiency. That's where you get the efficiencies, because you may have 5 people here, 5 people there. Meanwhile, you can do the same work with, let's say, 7 people. So I think that's where the industry is getting to. And then of course, as PR, and I keep going back because this is mostly PR people. I keep going back to the context of being a PR person. You have to be very familiar with global trends and keep up with social media through various listening tools. Again, the digital guys, great. Tell them to go and get you some analytics or some listening. Within 1 hour, they come back to you, beautiful presentation. You tell a core PR person to do the same. What do? Now they go and beg their social media friends to do the same thing for them. But that integration is very, very important, because they should be able to do it. Fortunately, we are in a world where most of you guys are social media savvy. So it's not too difficult to make the switch over or integrate yourself into digital. Now, even though we keep talking about digital, in our markets, we still haven't made the full transition. In other markets, digital spending, it's more on PR far outweighs traditional spending. But in our market, we are still getting there. So even as a digital PR person, you need to build relationships with local media. It's very, very important. It'll probably take another 10 years or so and have the right bandwidth. So when they say 4G, it's true 4G, not 3G masquerading as 4G. So when we get to 5G, really 5G. I think once we get to a certain level, then obviously the efficiencies will come into place. So again, overall, a successful PR person in a globalized world must be able to adapt to different cultures and markets while keeping a global perspective. They should be more comfortable with digital tools, very comfortable with digital tools, and develop a deep understanding of the nuances of different regions. Now, what are some of the key importance areas, when it comes to being a globalized digital person or working in that space? Remote work is essential for staying connected with colleagues and clients. At GMA, half of the time our colleagues are working from home, and the other half they come to work. So, and you're able to still be able to do their work very efficiently and effectively, even from home. And I think one of probably the pitfalls of working remotely is that you don't have closing hours. You start at 5 if you work for me, and then you end at 11. And then sometimes in the middle of the night I will also shoot an email. And the worst thing is that when you get an email at 3 a.m., it spoils your night. it does swallow your night. So, but anyway, so those are, that's one of the benefits of remote work. And the good thing about remote work is that a lot of companies, in order to save money, what they're doing is that they're looking for the most cost-effective way to employ people or get partners. So there's a company sitting in UK, and then they're looking for a sharp guy in Ghana to do their work for them. And it happens, okay? There are companies sitting in US, and they're looking for somebody, and then they go to India. India has been a big beneficiary of remote work. We are getting there, but some countries have leapfrogged us. But I think you are the future, and so if you do your work well, if you embed yourselves into the global economy, then I think Ghana will also reap the benefits. So you'll be sitting in Ghana and you'll be earning good money working for a company in the US or Finland or wherever. Of course, there's a lot of efficiency, as I mentioned before, when it comes to digital communication. It can be fast, more efficient than traditional forms, and then also employees able to communicate effectively using digital tools. That saves time and money. Tech is also changing the way we communicate, and having the right digital communication skills is essential for staying up to date with new technologies and using them effectively. And I think our chairman has even spoken to the fact how we're able to adapt or quickly come up with a new way of teaching remotely once COVID hits. And the good thing is that once you start using it, you don't go back. That's the reality. When COVID hits and my team at GMA decided working remotely, after it was lifted, okay, they still resisted coming to work. It's like, we can work from home. And so it was a big fight. And so as a compromise, okay, come half of the time and the other half. But that doesn't mean they are not being productive. Sometimes they're even more productive working from home because they don't have to deal with traffic. If let's say you live in Kaswa, you have to sit in a car for or trotro for about 1.5 hours, and then the same way. You get up 7 o'clock, I'm calling you, you are working. And that's how it works. So it's more efficient. Okay. Now, again, we talked about the efficiency here and increased accessibility. Increased remote communication, which is important in this age, and working in virtual teams. That's also critical. Before I came here today, I had 3 meetings. One was in China, one was in the US, and one was local. I was supposed to go to a client called for a meeting, and because I couldn't do it, I said I have a previous engagement. He said, okay, why don't we do teams? So everybody went there, and I was the only one who was doing teams from my office at job because I knew how to get here. I didn't want to go to Accra for traffic and come here. So that's the level of accessibility and efficiency that you can get when you are a localized who understands the technology and able to utilize it. Very, very important. And of course, it's also very cost effective, extremely cost effective. There is this belief that when you do business, there's nothing like a face-to-face, looking the person in the eyes and talking to them. It's still true, but these days you can also do your Zoom meetings, your Teams, and you are seeing the person, you are seeing their actions. So if you know you are going to get the job in a way, you can see for their body posture. Okay, so it's getting there and it's becoming more and more efficient. I mean, there are certain jurisdictions where it's even almost live, sort of a holograph or a hologram type imaging. It's getting there. We are getting there. And there are meetings where you have maybe augmented reality. Sometimes you put things on for demonstration. We are getting there. I mean, yes, we are following the market leaders, but as access to technology, access to bandwidth, and all these things improve, we will get there. So it's very, very important that yes, we become digitally savvy, especially for the youth. Very, very important. And of course, even people like myself, I have to be able to interact with my kids. My 10-year-old is the one who knows every thing around the house. When it comes to the TV remote, he's always on YouTube doing all these things. And the wealth of information that he has is unbelievable. Sometimes I would say, but how did you find this? Even when I was 20 years old, I didn't know this information. But then a 10-year-old is teaching me. So that's how it works. Now, it comes to challenges, of being digitalized. You can preach all the virtues, but you also have to look at the challenges that we face in this market. And one of those challenges is, for instance, the communicating tools can delay, there are breakdowns in communication. Sometimes they block you because of your IP. And then cost of data. And I was talking to some colleagues about the cost of data. If you look at Ghana, the information that I have available to me is 0.61 USD per gigabyte. And if you look at the GDP of Ghana, it's nowhere near the big countries, but this is what they are paying. You look at China, it's 0.41. They are getting there. Look at Europe, it's 0.12. 0.12. These are the rich countries are paying less. The rich countries are paying less for internet access. In certain markets, once you click on your phone or your laptop, and you start working virtually, you leave it on the whole day. You leave it on the whole day because it's unlimited. In Ghana, can you do that? You can't. How many of you can actually leave your phone on the whole day? You won't, because you're wasting a lot of money. You see, so these are some of the challenges that we face. Until we get beyond those, it will be difficult, but yet we need to equip ourselves with the tools to make sure that, yes, when we get there, we'll be able to take advantage of all the benefits that comes with it. Of course, I spoke earlier about security issues. There are countries where they refuse to let people work in other countries simply because they feel that the systems will be hacked. I have nephews and nieces in the US who are allowed to work remotely. Some of them are living in Europe and they are working in the US. It's cheaper for them to come to Ghana, but the companies are saying, no, you can't be in Ghana. Why? Because they are on a VPN system, and that VPN doesn't allow them to work from Ghana. So they even have tried to work around the system, but for some reason, they're able to identify that they are not in an acceptable IP region, so they block them. But at a certain point where the security risks are minimized, probably a quarter of the people here will be working for companies overseas at a fraction of the cost. And that is the reality. You will be sitting here, you'll be working, maybe using your laptop to work, and you'll be making more money, and yet your cost of living is low. The company, it's a win-win situation, as they say. The company will be paying probably 50% of what they will pay somebody in Europe or in the US, and we're getting probably similar or better products. The reality is that in our part of the world, and don't let anybody lie to you, we have smarter people here, more clever people here, okay? But because of certain constraints that we have, we are not able to let others see it. So when India, for instance, the West realized that India had very clever guys, they outsourced everything to India. Because the guys, you have somebody with a PhD and he's doing call center work. Somebody with a master's degree is doing call center work. And their responses are way better than maybe somebody who they would hire them in the US or in Europe. So the same thing, once we get over certain digital barriers, technology barriers, we'll be able to do well. It will leapfrog us into the future. So the impact of technology, again, some of the key drivers, this change of the job market is automation, AI. The development of such technology has made jobs that involve repetitive tasks or analysis done by humans is now done by machines. Now, the pitfall of that is that they are saying that machines are going to replace humans. It's not necessarily true. AI is going to replace humans. Interestingly, I was introduced to ChatGPT. I hope you guys know what ChatGPT is. Yeah. So it's become my best friend. when I go to sleep and I'm sitting there like 2 a.m., I'm typing and my wife says, what are you doing? Like, oh, I'm talking to my friend here. So that's how it works. And it's amazing the type of information that you get. But again, one of the pitfalls or drawbacks is that half of the time it's failing. You have to reload the information, reload, you see. But again, it's because our internet is so slow. So at some point, you click on it, as it's loading, it times out. it times out, so you have to go back and reload, In areas where they have a 5G, boom, it spits out the information quickly for you. So these are all things that over time we will get to. And then of course, the gig economy, I think I mentioned earlier about the cost of bandwidth. It's very, very important, because it's very expensive, and until we get to a certain level where bandwidth is cheap and accessible to all, it becomes a problem. And even internet penetration, that also is an issue. Ghana, I believe, has an internet penetration of 57%. Europe, I think it's about 89.7% in generally averagely in Europe, and then it's 89.4% in US. So, I mean, imagine doing business in this jurisdiction versus ours. And even internet penetration in Ghana is mostly in the urban areas. If you go to a small village, there's no internet. That is a reality. Or if there is, it is very slow. It is very slow. And of course, your phone, you can even get connection than to even get bandwidth or data bandwidth. So those are some of the challenges that but key drivers which we have to get over. And then I think I mentioned e-commerce earlier, which even in Ghana now you can even get food delivered, groceries delivered. These are all things. I was looking for a treadmill to buy. I went on Jumia. I clicked on it, and then I got the guy's number. And then he called me. He said, "Oh, we don't have this one, but we have another one." He upsold it to me. He sold me a more expensive one, and we become good friends. You see, so that's e-commerce for you. It's great, and I know that a lot of you guys are using Jumia and all these other platforms. And I mean, I always keep telling my friends that, for instance, Uber, Lyft, the other ones, Bolt, they have transformed the transport industry. And sometimes people don't appreciate what I'm saying. But even if you take yourself back to 10 years ago, if you needed a taxi, you had to go by the roadside, and then hail a taxi, or get a taxi driver's number who would come to your house and pick you up. Now all you do is just from your phone, boom, boom, boom. A car is waiting for you. It may be very expensive, but still, you have that convenience. And for those of us, who travel a lot, it's made our lives very, very easy, because in certain places, like in the US, certain Midwest, certain places, when you go there and you go and stay with somebody, unless the person takes you to town, you become a virtual hostage in that house. Now you go to somebody's house, oh, I have to go here. You get on your Uber account, you call 20 minutes, the car is here, it takes you wherever. So even when you travel, you don't rely on people anymore. That's my point. You don't rely on people anymore. You see, and this is all because of technology. You take your CD debit card. Okay, you take your CD debit card. You go to Nigeria, you're able to draw money. So you don't have to keep cash on yourself. And these are all technology. Sometimes, depending on your age, you think that technology is just social media, but it transcends it. There is more to it. You see, there is more to it. Okay. Now okay, please. Okay, so I think in terms of understanding digital platforms, and again, I take myself back to being a PR person and being able to work efficiently in the digital space as a PR person. So you have to be very familiar with a wide range of digital communication tools and be able to use them effectively to communicate with a diverse group of people. It's very, very important. I mean, if you take anything away from this lecture, as PR people, this is something that you need to, you have to understand the different platforms. And using myself again as an example, my favorite people in the work, at my work, are the people who are able to teach me all the different digital communication tools. Okay, so one person comes and says, "Have you heard of OpenAI, ChatGPT?" I'm like, "Oh." So now I keep calling the person, "Come and show me this, come and show me that." You see, so if you are digitally savvy, not only are you able to better yourself, but also endear yourself to your bosses, your people, because a lot of your bosses will probably be my age plus or minus 10 years, and we may not be as digitally savvy as you guys are. So you need to take advantage of that. Be able to endear yourself. In certain institutions, General Electric in the US and other places, what would happen is that they would take, it's called reverse mentorship. So you have somebody at my level, and then you take somebody from here coming in who is very social media savvy. And that young person is my mentor, because they are the ones who are able to teach me how to use all the digital tools. Okay, so even in this market where we haven't formalized it, there's still that level of mentorship, reverse mentorship going on. And when I sit here, I see Efie, who is my reverse mentor, Echo here. You know, so it's very, very important. You know, you have to endear yourself to your lecturers, your deans. You know, if you are very, very savvy and you go to Dr. Mankwai's office, talk. I've seen this application is going to make your life easier. So he said, come in. And that's the reality. That is the reality of life. So, okay. And then again, as we are people, I think, and here I want to really emphasize, it's very, very, very important to build an online presence. It's very, very important. Now, what tends to happen, and I asked them to show a screenshot of my LinkedIn account, is because generally what people do is that they will have a nice picture of this standing on the beach, or maybe patting a dog, or maybe doing something like this as your picture on the, you know, as your DP. Meanwhile, you are looking for a job. So when I do a social media scan, I go to your Facebook page, I go to your LinkedIn account, and I see somebody who first of all, their name also even it's worse. They call themselves Jajimi, you see, or Arabam Equiapem Polo, or Pachongo Kanjero. All these things. So if you're looking at for a job in a corporate environment, are they going to take you serious? No. So here I am, and there's one thing. My picture nicely suited up. So if you see me, you know that I'm serious. Okay. And there's been a lot of people who have contacted me on LinkedIn. Now they want to, how do you say it? They want me to add them to my friends. Now what happens? I go and look at their picture, look at them like, oh, no. Then I say forget. But if it's a young person, you know, they are, you know, nicely professionally clad, and they say, okay, I want to, accept me or something. I do. You see, so those are the realities of life. So, you know, it's about projecting yourself, and in PRA also you have to project yourself properly. So in projecting yourself, you also have to look at your online presence and how you project yourself. It's very, very important. Even in Ghana, and mostly in the West, when you apply for a job, without even telling them your social media handles and all those things, you go there. And you go and look at everything, all your posts and everything that you've written. So if you go and then you see that this person is a radical, is an activist, nobody wants an activist on their staff. So they won't hire you. They'll find a nice way to say that, oh, we are not hiring now and all these things. But it's probably because of the posts that you are putting out there to the world. And the unfortunate thing is that social media is global. You post something here, 5 minutes, somebody is reading it in the US. So for those of you who even have friends in America and Europe, when something happens in Ghana, they are the ones who call you first. They say, hey, I've heard that this thing is happening. Like, oh, let me go and check. You see, so that's the role of social media. So you have to project yourself very, very well. Or if you want, maybe you can have 2 accounts. And then one will be your funny, joking one, and then the other one will be your professional one. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. Okay? But it's very, very important. And then, of course, digital footprint, again, bloggers, very important. But you have to do it well. Not just put out anything and think that, oh, I'm a blogger. There are bloggers and there are bloggers. So you have to make sure that you fall in the other category of serious bloggers, if that's what you want to do. If you want to be an entertainment blogger, that's fine. You know, people have made money being jokers on social media. It's okay. Okay, but you can't be a joker and say I want a job in a bank. They won't and that's the reality. So in developing your online persona, make sure that it aligns well with what you want to do or how you want to be seen. Okay, because you can't go say I'm this person and then you go for an interview and then they tell but this is how you are like, oh no, this one is just, it doesn't work. You've lost your opportunity. Okay, and then again, you have to build that vast skill set. Okay, because yes, you are being digital, you're a PR person, but you also have to build other skill sets. It's not enough to say I can, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, and I post the best things on there. You have to also have other skills, and of course, some of these technical skills are being on social media platforms. They are being able to write. You're a PR person, so you need to know how to write. I mean, for me, I think it's a basic requirement. You can't be a PR person and then you come for an interview, they ask you to write a simple one paragraph document, and then it takes you about 4 hours. It doesn't work that way. So again, you are PR people, I'm talking to PR people, and yes, you want to immerse yourself into the digital world, but still know your core fundamentals. It's very, very important. And then of course, I think we talked about problem solving. Allow me to talk about GMA a bit, because as an integrated end-to-end media communications entertainment company, this is what our digital people are doing. And we have these are all our companies, we are media companies. From YFM, Accra, we have UFM, and then also where I said as a we also have other businesses. But running across we all need digital people across all the platforms, YFM, the social media. I mean, they are one of the in terms of social media influence, they are probably one of the best out there. I recall I met with some people from the US Embassy. I don't know if you were that meeting or not. So, I told them that, YFM, like, YFM. Because the Americans, I don't know if they see, they were monitoring. And they realized that there's a lot of chatter, there's a lot of activity on YFM. So they know that we control the use space. Okay, social media. Okay, so again, our work cuts across. So, we do content creation. Some of our guys are doing social media graphic design. Social media, this gentleman here is one of the best in the country. We use social media to do recruitment. Rather, we do analysis and reporting, community building, obviously, and then CRM. And then we do some videos, animation, photography, display, media planning, media buying, website takeovers. We do a lot of these things for clients. A lot of these things for clients and also for ourselves. And then, of course, we have a website, design microsites and microsite websites, which most of these websites is for clients. And then other things like email marketing, blog SMS, influencer management. And that's a key area where, because of our platform, for instance, YFM, they have a lot of influencers. So when we go to clients, they say, okay, we want to use Kojoma. No, he's a staff of ours. So if you want to be an influencer, boom, he's there. We want to use Edubay, he's an influencer. So we have, among our platforms, we have over 60 influencers that we're able to use to work with for clients. And then, of course, data analytics, very, very important. It's critical. So for me, I think I've come to the end of my presentation. So overall, by developing diverse skills, emphasizing language proficiency, and focusing on industry-specific skills and building a personal brand and gaining practical experience and networking effectively, university graduates can strategically position themselves to develop digital communication skills for the local job market. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you so much. We learned it all, we've heard it all. It's now question time. What is bothering you? Relating the scholarships you've learned in the lecture theatre to this forum. Mr. Boateng is here. He has the experience. If you have any questions, ladies and gentlemen, kindly raise your hand and I'll welcome you to you. Thank you.
I want to know, why is it that companies find it so difficult to have university graduates who have just completed? Why won't you give us the opportunity or the chance to work with you, show you what you can do, and then what you stay in your company? But you don't do that. You are always going for people with 10 years experience. I don't have 10 years experience. I just completed university. So I really want to know, why don't you like hiring us?
Sometimes when you go for internship or attachment, for me, doing an internship, a PR student, I was taken to a department which was not even related to PR. So me doing the internship, I ended up not even having experience in the field I'm studying, but in another field, which also gives us problem. So sometimes you should consider as an employer as well.
Do you think, or would you hire someone with a second class with good soft skills, or you are looking out for the academic?
Finally, after every set of interview questions, there's this last question is, why should we hire? With me, I wish I would get to potential employers. I was in tell business money, but you can't do that. So please, as a CEO, what do you do?
That's a very good question. But see, if you distinguish yourself in an interview, your value comes out. Chances are you come for an interview. You haven't done anything work about the company. So they ask you, do you know anything about this company? Nothing. And you know the company has all these platforms. One radio station you listen to. I'm coming for an interview for a radio station. One radio station to listen to. Oh, we are all like BBC. Exactly. And it happens all the time. You know, you see, especially the ladies, they want to do sports. So we come and say, oh, I will listen to BBC. But anyway, you see, so I think you have to do your homework, first of all. You need to make sure that the function that you're applying for, okay, you know everything about that function. And of course, you need to know the company. So sometimes you come to me and then I'll interview you and I say, do you know me? Oh, then you. Have you been to our website? No. You fail right there and there. You know my point. So know everything about the function, know everything about the job. Make sure that you go extra. So if you are coming to PR and you know you give me all these data enhancements and what you can do with data, on the top. That's a simple thing. Okay, but people come in and they have, say if I have five criteria, they probably show deficiencies in three. So you know the job. So you have to aim to be the best and the brightest. And of course, academics do money. It's also very, very important that you also demonstrate that yes, you have problems. Because like I said, people have problems for us, not problems. So I think once we need to do that and do that effectively, I think we get a chance.